Welcome to Korea Talk, episode 11. Joining me is Peter and Sam, like always, and then we have Emily from China Talk. If you want to introduce yourself, give some shout outs to whatever stuff you actually do, like we don't do because we're bad.
Okay, so I am on China Talk. I'm a writer at LL Esports and Liquid Legends, and I watched a lot of China and Korea. And so actually, the reason why I was brought on China Talk was because I started watching Korea prior, and then since they have so many Koreans, that's the reason why I was brought on. So yeah.
See, you actually belong here a lot more, but whatever. I actually want to do a shout out to Jacob Wolf from he was on the show before and he provided this overlay which I've butchered into this and I had to crop up real badly because that's all my bad. It looks better, but I mean, thanks Jacob for that.
You're the man, Jacob.
Yeah.
You're the man.
Okay, let's just get into the topics.
So let's quickly run through the last three games. I guess they weren't as noteworthy as we thought they would be, considering Najin immediately lost SKT, so they kind of ended any change of top five. But we saw something very interesting with Najin versus SKT on Wednesday. Was Faker's his first bad game, like legitimately bad game since I really can remember another time he looked that bad or off his game.
Yeah.
Xerath games in spring, I would guess something.
Well, I mean, were they was that more of an issue of it being a Xerath pick when it's no longer relevant? Or
it was relevant in that period, but I mean, they first picked it the whole time, which was dumb.
So what else did you guys think on the first game? Let's see. What else is he playing against? Yeah, his Victor. Okay, yeah, his Victor against. Well, actually, yeah, he played against Ggoong's Zir in lane.
Which I mean,
is
his laning was okay, but normally Faker will not lose to against Zirs unless it's KOO. So this was his team fighting. He actually every team fight he thought he could kill Ggoong, and just walked up and died. He had never had enough burst because he started with CDR boots, and he actually lacked a lot of damage in his builds. But he kept thinking he had a lot of damage, so just walked in and then got blown up.
Yeah.
Well, he just had to play more appeal and be fucked up like every team fight, which was really surprising for Faker.
It was very unusual and unnerving to watch Faker misunderstand or misinterpret his champion damage output so badly throughout an entire game. Like normally, one of the things I like about Faker is that he's quite good at perfectly working out how much damage he has to be able to do, how much damage he has, and how much damage he needs to be able to do in a specific situation. One of the things that makes his LeBlanc so terrifying, and yet in this series he just looked like completely hopeless. Like multiple times he went in and tried to kill somebody, and it was obvious that he didn't have anywhere near enough damage. Even to me, I was like, I don't think you got enough damage there, Faker. Oh no, you definitely don't. Oh shit, you've died. And he got caught a lot. It was really weird. It's one of those where I can't help but think Baker must have been seriously ill or something like that. That's the only way I can justify that match performance. Was he hungover or something? I don't know.
Well, and I thought it was really weird. I guess just because, and then they put Easy Hoon in for the next two games, and SKT won those games. But I thought it was weird because it obviously seemed that they wanted to run their actual lineup against Najin because Najin had been doing so well lately. They didn't want to. I guess my assumption would be they didn't want to leave it to chance that they would drop a set to Najin. But it was really weird. It's one of those situations where bringing in Easy Hoon for the next two games is actually a really good call.
Yeah. I thought it was a good call too, because Faker didn't look on point at all.
In that very specific incident, I agree with bringing in in that one single decision. Every other time it's been fucking bullshit. But that one specific moment, great job there, Clement. Great job.
There was another time where they pulled out Faker. After they lost game one, they pulled Faker out for put Easy Hoon in game two, and then Faker back in game three, just to give him a moment, a game break to get his head back.
Yeah.
Get his head back and straight. But it was last game of the season and kind of irrelevant.
I mean, I would like to argue that we see players have a really bad game and then go off in the next game quite often. And if there's any player capable of doing that, it probably is Faker.
Yeah.
But like, I agree with that decision in that one moment. Like that other time, that makes me think it wasn't such a good decision, because if Faker went off in this game 3, then he was probably capable of going off in game 2.
Yeah.
So it's probably just like, if anything, that might have just pissed him off slightly more. Like, it feels like Easy Hoon gets away with bad games more often. You know, like Easy Hoon's allowed to have a bad game. It's like, oh well, it's just a Hoon. You know, he just didn't get us here, so he didn't have a good game. Whereas with Faker, it's like, get him out of there! Get him out of there right now!
I mean, it's a star. Gotta protect it, the star player.
Yeah. You know. I'd say he's more of a diamond, and the thing about diamonds is they're like indestructible, so like,
okay,
can't really smash him.
That's good, right?
Anything else on Faker's performance?
It was weird, very very weird.
Because
I think if he had just played normally, I mean, not even like his super good form, they would have won. But he was just ruining the team fights for the rest of the team as well, which was a problem.
Let's not take away any credit from Najin. They fucking done.
No, they did. Yeah, sure. But
they had a great comeback. The team fought well. They made some good calls. That Baron call was sick. Like, not take away credit from Najin.
I think that Faker was trying to do that because of the team comp they had. They were much more of a kite back and protect Kog'Maw and protect Faker, and unless they were in a big enough deficit that they needed to blow someone up quick before the team fight began, because Najin had so much engage off of the Annie and then follow up with the basically Azir, Gnar, and Lee Sin could all follow up, and it was pretty crazy to see Watch play Lee Sin. He gets his good Lee Sin games every so often.
Watch
had some really good actual mechanical outplays. I was just like, you're showing up again. Like, okay.
Yeah, he did.
It's engage over the Raptor pit was great. It was great.
But my boy Watch turned up for that one game. But he turned up for that one game. Like, he was like, Lee Sin time, let's go. Like that bit where he came over the wall, that Raptor engage, I was like, is that Cacao? Like, whoa!
It was great. Yeah. His kicks through the whole game were very good.
The only issue is that he got early kills and then put them right into defensive stats.
That's Watch.
Yeah, that's where Watch is never going to build a damage item in his time.
He will never.
I think
that's really why he stays in Korea and not goes to China.
I think the Najin coaches have secretly removed the D button from his keyboard or something like that, so he can't ever spell damage. So he can't build any damage items. That's my theory.
Okay.
That's also where smite is. That's why he can't smite a lot of things.
Of course.
Yeah.
So then we had game 2 where Easy Hoon, like we said, Easy Hoon came in, played Azir. But we also had quite the game of Duke and his Riven trying to counter the Rumble of once again, pulling Riven out versus Rumble. What did you guys think of his performance there, and then the sad sack, Ggoong losing the game?
I was gonna say Duke was fine in that game.
He was.
Just first game, he's just getting these crazy one thing I've been pretty critical of Najin has been their late game not only shot calling but just their team fighting. They seem really out of sync. But when you have Duke on Gnar, he can totally control team fights, and that's what he did in the first game. And I thought that was really impressive. And then he comes in with Riven, he's doing great, and then Ggoong happened.
Yeah.
Oh man, Ggoong is. Let me pull up the stats that they pulled up on Ggoong. Okay.
Go ahead.
Ggoong is. That was just for. Okay, never mind. That was just for playoffs. I was gonna say because Ggoong receives almost always the vast majority of Najin's goal. It's between him and OQ, and he's only a point above OQ throughout the season. 25.6% to OQ's 26.9%, because Ggoong cannot make an impact outside of laning phase without a ridiculous amount of gold. And it's just like, I'm not a huge Najin fan to begin with, but it's really frustrating to see an incredible amount of talent on that team going to waste because they won't make, like, certain roster decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They have him on the bench as well. It's not even like you have to buy players. They're on the fucking bench.
Calm down, Sam. Calm down.
I would say it's
And, like, I've heard that Ggoong is like, and Sam's probably gonna rip into me for this comparison, but like I've heard that Ggoong is like that player you want on your team. Like he's a nice person. He's like a super hard worker. Like, and there comes a point where you have to choose. Like, do you want the nice person who's gonna work all the time and still isn't gonna be good enough, or do you just want to find someone else you don't need to like dedicate the vast majority of your resources to in order to make your team better?
If Ggoong was such a hard worker, why is Tank consistently above him in solo? Like Tank's like number 5.
Bad, Sam. He's bad.
Exactly. If Ggoong's such a nice person, then fucking like get players to take him out, like get him to take players out for coffee, get him to take the coaches out for lunch. He can organise meetings. Just don't have him playing League of Legends. Like
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
they already got watch. How many nice guys do you need on the team? Haven't you heard the phrase "nice guys don't win"?
Exactly. So why is Ggoong still on the team? Is my question.
Nobody knows.
Like that kind of reasoning. It's like the bullshit reasoning some guys give. Like, why can't I find a girlfriend? I'm such a nice guy. I work so hard at my job. I make good money. Because you're a fucking pussy.
I would say you can be a hard worker and just do produce terrible work, but you can still. I'm still working real hard on it, taking no breaks.
But I want Ggoong to win. I like Ggoong. I want him to do well. I want him to win games. But the man is not good at League of Legends, okay?
And you'd need a meta where Zed is good and Yasuo is not good.
Yeah. That meta doesn't exist.
Like very conveniently, no one else is good. But
yeah.
Yes.
Like his Zed pick in game 2 was bad. It did nothing. Like let's be honest. Like you picked Zed to beat Azir in lane. He didn't beat Azir in lane.
Yeah,
so
the worst
he got outplayed by EasyHoon.
Like and the worst part
multiple times.
The worst part is that Zed pick made no sense in the comp because it's 2015 in season 5. We don't run double assassins anymore. You've got the Riven.
Yeah.
Like you need something to control a team fight. To set up the Riven for the flank, that kind of thing. Not Zed. What's fucking Zed gonna control?
And it's not like Zed
control his own mother.
Yeah, you can't push the lane up. Like you're not going to be able to push Azir into his turret.
Yeah.
Like to create like the only other thing you'd pick against Azir is someone can push him back so you can get mid lane control and then further your jungle control from that. But not Zed, especially when Duke is on Riven. But I don't think the Riven pick was bad at all.
No.
I mean, let's think what was open. Like fucking Lulu was open. That horrendously OP champion called Victor was open. I don't really know a lot of his names. Orianna was open.
Orianna was open, yep.
Karthus was open.
There were no mid lane bans in that game.
Yeah,
no, wow.
Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, and then Kalista, Elise, Janna.
Yeah, he could have picked fucking anything. They could have sent the Kennen to mid lane, and I'd preferred that over the fucking Zed pick.
Yeah. That's epic.
Fuck you, Ggoong.
I mean, mostly.
Not only that, but the Zed pick was like before Riven, so even though they picked Zed, it's like, we should do, guys, just get one more 80 damage in here. Let's make our team super counterable by just having hourglasses built on the Rumble and the Azir.
Yeah, that was the other point about this fucking Zed pick. It was an all AD team comp at that point.
That's why you picked the Kennen
support. Yes, that's why you have Watch on Gragas, just because he totally builds all the AP. He builds all the damage. I know,
Rek'Sai, Gragas, and Evelyn. I think if you did that to Bengi, he'd actually be fucked.
He has a lead. He can play Lucian. Oh, no.
And what can Bengi play Elite Sin?
Well, it's not good Lee
in
Sin.
Previous seasons.
I mean, he can. I never say he's good, and he can play it. I mean, whatever.
I just think that's a winning strategy.
If you have Bengi, you're not looking at Bengi to carry. I mean,
he has to put wards. That's it.
You just need him to W2 a ward and then
Yeah,
kick something back towards your team, and that's all you need him to do on Lee Sin.
He kept playing Nunu, whatever.
I've seen Western Lee Sin's not managed that. Like, don't say that like it's easy to do. Like,
Yeah.
I have trust in
like
Bang.
Lulex
He can.
can't manage that on
do
Lee
that.
Sin,
I don't
Well-
think Lewis said.
and he's a Lee Sin main apparently.
I would highly That's pretty speculative to claim that for him. Anything else with the series? I mean, the next game we had. Actually, it was a pretty close game, but still, we had Easy Hoon kind of pull it out.
Yeah.
I thought Bang like taking
Yeah,
taking the Lucian away from OQ and then putting it on Bang. Bang's quite a good Lucian player, so I thought that was a good call.
Yeah,
Lucian, as apparently everyone is calling it now,
Lucian. Yeah.
because he loses all the time. Oh wait, no, right.
That's in the West.
No. In good regions, Lucian's a boss. In bad regions, Lucian's shit. Lucian depends on how good you are with your mechanics. Let me just put that out there. If you know how to punish a lane and to punish lane decisions and that kind of thing, then you can win against Lucians. There's a huge world difference between OQ on Lucian and Vardags on Lucian. There's a fucking world of difference there, right? Like,
Okay.
like just to go on record, OQ versus any Western bot lane would shit on them so badly that they wouldn't make it out of lane phase. Remember that Uzi used to play like Western bot lanes, and they'd be like 50 CS down at 10 minutes.
Yes.
That's how it would be. Like OQ punishes every single CS lane. He's actually brilliant in lane. Like, I've seen him dumpster like players like that Samsung AD carry. What's his name?
Fury.
Like, he's
yeah.
effective in like losing matchups. Like, OQ knows how to play a lane. Like, so when he put him on Lucian, he's a genuine threat. He can genuinely carry the whole game based on how well he bosses that lane. So don't call it Lucian. It's a good champion. You're just shit.
I think that both those games, Easy Hoon had solid performance, but I don't think he was like that super outstanding. I mean, I think he just helped the team a lot, because I think like one team fight he got a quadra kill in game 2. I think. I mean, Marn could have gotten that quadra kill as well. Just pure.
Yeah.
He got all the last hits. They played the team fights well together as a team.
He had some great ultis though.
Yeah, that's true.
Great.
I was gonna say the thing you're looking for from Azir is to be able to provide zone control in team fights. I think Easy Hoon does that really, really well for SK Telecom.
Mm.
And I mean, Ggoong doesn't do this.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like if we're just comparing like not only the laning matchup, but just even without Faker in there, at least you do have Easy Hoon, who I think does have a really good understanding of zone control and zoning in general. Like all of his best champions are really good at that. So, you know.
He's the ultimate kind of control mage player. You know, his positioning and as you said, zone control, his ability to disrupt a team fight, that kind of thing. It's really great. You know, his problem is that he's a bit of a pussy in lane, and that he only is good on about 2 to 3 champions, and that's genuinely what's OP in the meta. So he's quite adaptable in that sense, except that he's shit on assassins. But you know, he's good on Azir and Azir and Azir. So. Lulu.
I would honestly like to see him on another team, to be honest. Like, I mean, SKT, like SKT doesn't really need him. Let's be honest. And I would love to see a team that struggles with team fighting and zone control and having someone in the mid lane who has no idea how to do that. Like, seriously, just put Easy Hoon on Najin.
Yeah.
GBM.
That too, but like
or
either of them.
You know, that promising rookie mid laner that just sits on the bench the whole time.
Okay, we'll talk more about Najin later. Like we have a whole series.
Well, I mean, we can just quickly jump to the other ones because I mean they're not as exciting. We had Samsung CJ, Samsung 2-1 CJ.
Well, yeah.
After game 1, CJ put in, what was it, 3?
Yeah, all 3 of their subs.
Yeah, each time it was all 3 of their subs that they have. So, Space tried to play carries.
Thick, Max, and Helper.
Trick. Oh yeah, help is their top lane sub. Yeah. Max is their support sub, and Trick is their jungle sub. See, I the really ambition should be the jungle sub. But the problem with CJ is like I don't really get why they're messing around with subs because what they have is like really good team fighting. So when you swap out players, don't you sacrifice that really good team fighting? Isn't that the issue?
Yeah, I think they just want to give them some practice in the boots.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really.
It didn't matter anymore. The second Najin lost, they could. It doesn't matter if they lose or win. They end up third. So.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they didn't care. I mean, they let Space play Vayne, and they let him play Callista. So it wasn't a Sivir. Like, it was not a champion named Sivir.
They didn't want to win.
It was not a champion who's playing well.
Hey, wait a second. Space is pretty okay on Cogball.
Yeah, but...
He's alright on Urgot. The 6 Space Urgot.
Okay.
Fucking I can play Urgot well, but that's not an accomplishment. I'm pretty sure you could put me in a booth and I'd play Urgot and you'd be like, oh, some decent Urgots there.
It's not relevant anymore anyway. Well, yeah, it's Urgot used
No,
to be
but
good.
I think that's funny. Like all of a sudden, Urgot is back in the meta, and people are like, "Oh, is Space a good AD carry?" Because he's always
Stop!
Urgot.
It's an Urgot.
It's not. Urgot is not an AD
Urgot.
carry. It's not even an AD carry. It's just a mongoloid put in a bot lane.
It was nice to see Crown play pretty well, though. I mean, considering he played against Coco.
Yeah.
Though Coco did
I
play
like Crown.
Lulu for some reason, game 3.
Well, they picked a comp of like Shen, Nidalee, Lulu, Kalista, and Alistar with like
Razor damage.
Well, they're hoping in Italy's doing damage. But...
No late game damage. Yeah, I think they were hoping that Trick was just gonna like
win lane.
1v5 people.
Not Chaser. Or Cacao. Yeah, no.
I don't know, it was as I saw that I was like, wait, how are they gonna do anything in late game? And then we saw exactly what they did, nothing. What do you guys think about Samsung going into next year? Do you think they should keep the same roster, change any players?
I think
they
will
still
be
need...
forced to change players.
Yeah, okay. I think they need a new top laner probably, and I think Eve is manageable right now, but a new top laner would help a lot. QV has rarely good moments, like really good moments, like for team fighting stuff. I think the rest is fine. It's good enough. They're growing. Crown is doing good. Bot lane was always pretty good.
Yeah, Fury was always great. I'm really happy that Crown is doing well because I actually one thing you guys might not know is he was in Brazil.
Yeah.
For a while, yeah, and so I knew of him from there, and I actually not got to meet him, but waved at him when I was doing an interview one time. He's a really I asked the players, I was like, how is Shadow at that time, and they were like, oh my gosh, he's the nicest person. So I'm really happy because he seemed super miserable in Brazil. So I'm really happy that he's found a team and that he is obviously a lot happier, doing really well. I think he team fights surprisingly well. So I thought that was really cool. I'm just really happy to see him. I don't know about Eve. I'm still bleh on him, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know if it's he's been okay this split, but his entire body of work is kind of honestly, I feel if you can find a better jungler sub, get that first, because the jungle is such an important position, and it's also pretty right now considerably weaker than it used to be. So if you can manage to get a good jungler, you can actually completely elevate your team entirely that way. So if they are able to find another jungler who's better than him, I think it would help significantly.
Sure.
Yeah, Korean jungle is pretty dog shit right now.
I'll say in a world where we have Ambition, Hojin, Wisdom, Tucson, Catch, Spooky, Lyra, the amount of bad junglers.
Wait a second. Okay, right. I think Score's pretty okay now. I've ragged on the guy a lot, but I actually think he's pretty okay.
You said spooky. You said spooky.
I said spooky.
Not Score.
Oh no, but no, you listed Score there, didn't you?
I did not. I think Score is actually a pretty good jungler.
I'm really versed on Score, but I think his pathing is really creative. I think in certain situations, the reason why Fixer helped that team so much was that he was able to cover up for a lot of Score's weaknesses and like through roaming, and then Peekaboo just takes that to another level. So like all of Score's deficiencies in terms of like how to react to certain situations just because he doesn't have enough experience in that position, or just getting like deep wards down since Peekaboo is now like basically covering for him on those areas, that actually allows his pathing to be a lot more creative. And I've been pretty impressed with Score, to be honest, even though I'm like super harsh on him because I'm a KT fan. So.
Oh, the suffering.
Well, this year, maybe.
Like, but I think that who was some of the other junglers you listed. I think that Tucson is really coming into zone as jungler. So I won't have you list Tucson, but I actually think he's pretty legit now.
I still think he needs a bit more work, but he's improved. But
Yeah.
I could say Spenu's improved.
Oh,
It's
well, then you'd be
to
lying.
what degree? Oh no, Spenu improved from like a 2 to a 3. That's improvement. Just that's still a relevant amount of improvement.
Well,
the problem with Tucson is like not. It's actually weird. It's not his champion pool. Like I think oddly enough, he has like a really good understanding of how to play a wide variety of champions, but like his overall understanding of how to make an impact.
This great point is being lost. That great point was lost.
Sorry.
Repeat that entire last sentence. Repeat it entirely.
All I was gonna say is I think Tucson knows how to play a lot of champions, so that's good. But he doesn't have as much experience as a jungler, so he also could improve because I feel like a lot of the stuff he's been learning by actually just jungling.
I think if you give Tucson this really long off season, because people don't know this, but Korea has like the longest off season ever.
Yeah.
Like it's like 4 months or something ridiculous. Like if you're a Korean player, you just get to go to the massage booth, get wanked off. Like it's fucking great. So in this time, I actually think that Tucson can actually become like a pretty good jungler, getting this long off season. Because the Korean teams won't really take a break; they'll take like a month and they'll be like back on it. So I actually think that
play in a tournament in China. They need to get into like Nest. The Nest is on right now.
Bring back Star Wars! Bring back Star Wars!
Yeah,
bring
that would be
back
amazing.
something.
They should bring back Stars War. That wasn't like.
All you need to do is right after Worlds.
Except the
Right
Chinese
after Worlds, just get the top 5 teams from China or top 6 teams from China, top 4 from Korea, and just play against each other. Man, that would be great.
God, Korea would get dumpster, dude.
No.
That's why I said top 4.
No, we still would get dumpster.
No. Okay, like we outsmart them and bait them and outsmart them. We do it like the like those Chinese guys are really big and they're really ugly. They're really stupid. They're like, let's go. And like your Koreans like a little bit nifty, a little bit smarter. They'd be like kung fu and like just karate chop to the neck.
Yeah, but they also have Korean, so you know.
And then poke out his eyes.
I don't know. You have some really good strategy coming from
that's
these
true.
teams now. Like, LGD is really impressive. EDG, even though they lost, like they're fine. Like Snake is really good at late game team fighting. IG, I have no freaking clue. Like. They're so inconsistent, and they had this thing where halfway through the season they just decided that whenever they were losing, they would like passively lose. Yeah, and QG is yet to be decided.
We'll see after the finals.
Real quick, anything else to say? We saw Ashe pop up again.
Yeah, Fury picked it the day before, and then again, I
fucking mid Kale for who gives a shit.
Oh god.
So. One thing I don't understand, and maybe this just shows my horrendous understanding of League of Legends. You know, Varus is picked a lot mid and people build tier on it and that kind of thing. Why has nobody tried that with Ashe yet? I think that could work.
Ashe doesn't have the same amount of wave clear, nor poke, nor range.
Yeah, but they can both build tier.
Okay.
She's gonna get pushed in her turret, like
by that logic, anyone that has mana can build tier and go mid lane.
No, because
The only commonality is tier.
the Prophet Genja prophesied that Varus and Ashe would both would both work with Tyr. So the Time Lord Genja. So and he's travelled forward in time. He's brought this back to us, and nobody seems to be acting on this advice. I think that's an OP pick. You know what? And you naysayers, give you reasons why I don't think it would work.
Because
Varus
Varus
just like
is
item's second item. It's never going to show up.
If you executed some sort of like ridiculously complicated lane swap where you like somehow manage to like you send your duo lane mid so you can actually push the turret, then it might work. But like by herself, or you'd have to like take a turret elsewhere and then rotate her into mid after she's like already started stacking tier in the bot or top lane. Like, I don't think that would work just because of range. Like, she's more built for kiting back and, like, generally harassing. Yeah, and then obviously the engage, which I'm sure we'll talk about with OQ.
I mean,
well, that's just my prediction for the meta. So.
Varus has poke and insane wave clear with his two abilities. Ashe, the only thing she can do is poke with volley every 2.5 seconds if you go tier build. Yeah. And you can block volley. It's fucking easy. You just put a tank in front and the whole team behind the tank, and then you charge forward, and nobody will get slowed except the tank. So it's fucking useless. And it does no damage.
Okay, so let's move on. So the preview of the playoffs. Even though one game has already occurred, I'm pretty sure it was an unexpected game. I mean, when I saw game 2 occur, I was like, okay, yeah, the KOO's got this. And then game 3, I'm like, they better not group up, and then fucking retardation occurred, and again, a Malphite won a game. Did you guys see the KOO outcome? Like, did you see KOO beating Najin?
No.
I did not, and I also didn't see the Malphite pick working. Like, actually working.
Like hats off to Smeb. He played a good Malphite. Maybe the best Malphite we've ever seen. Who knows? We've seen about 12 Malphites in Korea in the last sort of 2 years. So one of them was insects. So you know what? It's possible he could play the best Malphite ever. I'd just like to go on record and say that I think that if that was a best of 5, I think Najin could have come back and win that whole thing. And I think it's absolute bullshit that it was a best of 3. I don't think it's actually excusable that it was a best of 3.
Actually, I agree with you. I think I was watching that and I was thinking, okay, if this was an actual best of 5, then Najin probably takes it anyway.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I don't understand the logic of why it was a best of 3. Why have a spot called the wild card in playoffs when you could just have an extra round in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't get the reason for the best of 3.
Like normally Korea has a pretty good format. In this situation, guys, really drop the ball. I can't think of a best of 3 that has ever impacted playoffs in the history of OGN.
The bigger issue I have with the best of 3 there is that they've played 214 games have been played. That's a lot of best of 3s.
Yeah.
And just happens to be this one.
That decides.
This is the
that
most
matters.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Najin lost a best of 3 to fucking Anarchy.
Yeah, like I can understand if if you look at the way that sort of 1 second. So you go to the summer playoffs and the sports preview. Right. So now Najin finished above. Okay. No, wait. Did they finish above?
No. I don't think so.
No.
KOO had more points technically.
Yeah. KOO is above.
Yeah. So the only thing that separated them was points. Yeah. So they did the same in the regular season, but someone needs to explain to me why there was why it was a best of 3 and not a best of 5, because it wasn't because they were equal on points. It wasn't like a tiebreaker to decide who gets into playoffs. It was just let's just have a best of 3 of the first round of playoffs. And this is also the first thing I'd heard about this being a wild card spot. I'd always assumed it was the top half get into
playoffs.
And the bottom half don't. So why was this round decided that it wasn't as important as the other rounds?
It was added on from the previous last year. They didn't have this round. That's added on from the spring. I have no idea whose call it was, but honestly, my opinion. I'm pretty sure you could tell who I think made the call to make it a best of 3, not a best of 5.
Somebody is right.
Maybe it has a They're a company that has an S on the end of it that should not be there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
best of 3 format, it was weird, and it hurt Najin because they hadn't actually had time to adapt enough in the series. They started and then they got beaten down, and then it's blind pick.
Well,
And
yeah.
then, and
Wouldn't
then
you
like,
think they're going to ban the Malphite?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like the plot line of that game was Najin win game 1, lose to Malphite pick, then
oh, let's not
it's
say it like
blind pick.
that, man. Let's not say it like it's just a Malphite pick that won them. That
No, I'm just saying, but they switch back to blue side again for game 3.
Yeah.
Would you not think that they would? I mean, last time they banned Kennen, Victor, Yasuo. Najin banned Yasuo, Kennen, and Victor on red side, and they went to blue side. They would have been red side again, so they would have had the counter pick. They wouldn't have been able to had the sneaky pick, and I think they would have been able to see what that was, neither hide mid or top lane, and adapt from that. You wouldn't have the same, oh, well, we already have our top and mid, like we already have all of our main line, like everything picked except for our AD carry and support,
Yeah.
and they picked the Malphite, so
I
they would have been able to counter.
I'm a big fan of
At
blind
least.
pick in best of 5 because I think it just
Yeah.
cuts down the indecision of side swaps and whatever. But in best of 3, it has such a weird impact because Najin never had time to counteract, and then they got struck by such a good comp that like they never had the chance to actually just properly win that series, and then just got hit by like amazing comp that KOO had obviously prepared for the blind pick, while Najin was just still trying to do the same thing they did in game 1. They were still trying to adapt, figure stuff out, and KOO just hit a really good comp that blew them away because like, Najin couldn't actually do much against that comp.
And I don't think that if Najin had known that there was this priority on Malphite and that KOO would go for Malphite and blind pick, they would have picked the Shen. Because Shen into Malphite's like not a good matchup for the Malphite. Because the Malphite just like TPs after you and has better impact with his ultimate, you know what I mean? And he can ult to displace you out of the thing. Like it's like the season 2 counter to Shen, like Malphite, like and like it's still apparently relevant. So yeah, like as a Najin fan, just for any viewers out there, I'm a Najin fan, and
We didn't notice.
yeah, like I think that like it was kind of bullshit, and I do feel like Najin kind of got cheated out of that. And if it wasn't for the fact that Najin still were in the gauntlet, I'd actually be out for blood right now. So
yeah, I think it was a bit. I mean, I think Najin deserved to lose, but it was a bit. If it was not blind pick, I think it was a little bit more fair. You can just blind pick the game 3. That's so fast. Like you don't actually have a series. You just have 2 games, and then boom, blind pick.
yeah.
Well, you were
Yeah, it's
not.
kind of.
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like, it's kind of weird. And I'm a huge proponent of blind pick in a best of 5, but I almost would have preferred if they were going to do a best of 3 that they would have just done regular draft in the last game, because that would have given both teams like basically one look at each other, right, each, and then they can go into that final game with like their best actual draft. But that unfortunately doesn't happen if you're doing a blind pick in the 3rd game. So it was really, really bizarre. And for something like bringing out the Malphite where you can just ban it and basically take it away, obviously Najin weren't prepared to go up against it, but then they didn't even have the option of banning it because last game was blind pick. So it was just kind of I don't know. It was an awkward series to watch. First, as someone who's been watching Korea for a really long time and is really used to these like long, epic best of 5s that all end in blind pick, ending a best of 3 at a blind pick was just really bizarre.
Yeah, I was gonna say you only had one. They only had one team able to adjust in this. Najin won game 1. KOO adjusted.
And
then you had
blind,
like immediately in a blind pick where KOO could get whatever pick you want, and you could see that they had prepared for the blind pick, because I'm pretty sure if I was KOO going into this, I'm like, we need blind pick to win. Like I'm glad if you're a KOO fan, you're like, thank fucking God it was blind pick. They got a comp that worked very well. They were really easy, able to pretty much negate OQ's initiation on Ashe with the amount of QSSs they had and win wall, and it was very smart to do that. And then Najin was like, "What the fuck? Like, don't we get a chance to bounce back and create a counter team comp?"
And when you look at it like thematically, like the reason why blind pick's so great is because you have this like long, grueling best of 5 where traditionally in Korea it's about which team can strategically adapt faster in a best of 5. You know what I mean? Which team has more strategy? Which team has a better understanding of the meta in that precise game mode? So we look at like some of the great best of 5s in Korea. We've got KT Bullets versus SKT 1K, where KT Bullets start off with like top-notch, like clear-cut strategies revolving around Gragas, chunking people off the turrets, taking turrets really fast pushing, that kind of thing. And it's really enjoyable to watch. And then SKT come back and manage to negate the KT strategy through banning of the Fiddlesticks and banning of the Gragas into a more like sort of like individual talent kind of basis where they can start to take out KT Bullets in a sort of 1v1 individual way. And then you get to the game 5 and that's it. Both teams have to just put everything on the table and just go for it. And it's the perfect kind of, you almost know what the best of 5 blind pick picks are going to be before the game even starts because you can see what the strong picks are that are taking you throughout that series.
What's developed through the series,
Yeah, what's developed through that series. In this moment, when you put a blind pick into a best of 3, it doesn't work because you don't have this long storyline. So you don't have the levels of adaptation and the mind games that go on in a best of 5 that take it. Like, there's just no reasoning behind it. We've had a whole season of best of 3. This was the biggest cock tease of playoffs ever. You put the playoffs randomly on a Saturday. You give us one shitty best of 3 Sunday, whatever. I was jet lagged. Leave me alone. And then that's it. And that's it. We're all done here, lads. Like, this is fucking pathetic.
Yeah, this whole ruling with the wildcard and stuff it's very disappointing. And
the casters got pretty hyped about Najin after game 1, where the point were like, oh, Najin's got this in the bag, and I'm like, no, this is Najin. They can fucking throw anything. They will lose the second game when you're like, no, there's no chance. They will lose that game. And then after the second game, I'm like, there's no. I thought that was over. Koo was moving on.
Yeah.
Because it was when they mentioned it was it's blind pick game 3, and I was like, nope, fuck, no chance. It was Najin had to win game 2 or they were done.
Yeah, donezo.
They were not prepared.
That game 3 was that was so painful to watch, and then fucking Ggoong had such a massive.
Let's talk about the games one as we break them down, kind of thing, rather than just jumping on the Ggoong hate train like we all like to do. I like to hate on Ggoong as much as anyone, but first he played well in game 1, so let's give him his credit where credit's due. If you don't give someone credit where credit's due,
KOO played good in game 1.
All right, he played passable in game 1. Right, for Ggoong, that's good.
Yes, it was passable, but the issue I have with game 1 is when's the last time we've really seen like a Cassiopeia played as a meta pick? I mean, he didn't have Azir or Victor.
Yeah, if you put those two out,
or TF, he didn't have Azir, Victor, or TF.
If Azir and Victor are out, Cassiopeia is still perfectly fine right now. I mean, they didn't. They're definitely still fine. It's just.
I mean, he didn't pick Zed. Praise the Lord, he's learning. Leave him alone in this one game. We'll get to the Ggoong hate later on. There's some other things interesting.
He was good, but it was just exactly the same game how we've seen Najin win all season, though. It's just you get OQ and Duke going, and then as long as Ggoong is there to provide not bad, you're gonna win. Like as long as Ggoong doesn't fuck it up, you're going to win. And we got to see Watch on his Elise with the early what is that called? The early banner of command was hilarious.
I actually really liked the early banner of command.
It was amazing.
I thought that was great. I was like, oh, okay, that's actually like really smart.
It's so good for pushing with Baron.
Yeah, one hilarious stat from game 1 is that Duke actually did more damage than Ggoong throughout that entire game as Tank Shen.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you actually saw how Duke plays Tank Shen in top lane. He only uses Q on enemy champion. He will not use it on a minion. He will only throw that shit in an enemy champion. It's fucking disgusting.
It's fantastic, and I think that's actually why like they could get away with having Ggoong as Cassiopeia, because they're like, okay, we're actually not even going to rely on you to do damage. We're just putting you on this for like teamfight zone control and literally so you won't die in lane because we know you know how to play this champion. And like that works out. If OQ and Pure are chaining their CC as well as they are, like especially with Watch's Elise, and then Duke is actually having some really good teleports and Stand Uniteds, then that works perfectly for Najin. Like I actually really liked their team comp that game.
It was a really smart, like, kind of like you focus on one guy and he dies because you fucking layer that shit onto him.
I want to point out that KOO actually fucked up in drafts because they had the option to go Lulu Olaf, and apparently Smeb doesn't play Olaf, so he went Fizz.
And then they picked the Fizz.
The Fizz was useless. Like, it was fucking useless. Oh, holy shit! Like, he literally that one team fight, he jumped up to dodge arrow, so Prey got hit by the arrow. I mean, you have to play the front line, man, not.
Even like honestly, like, and this is probably gonna bring back like nightmares of last Blitz finals for KOO, but like even put Smeb on Aurelia. Like Aurelia can dive the back line, like, and stay alive. Like why Fizz?
I don't understand how they picked this comp and then we're like, oh yeah, you like, was it just they were picking like, yeah, we're gonna pick oh wait, Smeb, you don't play Olaf?
Yeah.
Fuck. like how do you get that far?
It gets to champion select. It's like, right, and now, Kuro, lock in Olaf for Smeb. I don't play Smeb. What do you mean you don't play? What do you mean you don't play Olaf? Well, I just, you know what, like, I never really learned it. I figured Hojin would play it instead. Like, I don't really think it's a very good pick right now anyway. You know, we never really liked the Simmer anyway. I just thought I'd be better off practicing Fizz. I mean, have you seen the new Battle Buddy Fizz skin? It's really cool. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me right now. No, I'm being deadly serious here right now. I don't play the Olaf.
I mean,
well, I guess pick Fizz then. Like,
the draft was
even with Olaf, at least he would have been able to clear wave with the Q.
Yeah.
That Aegis was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, they're done. They have no way of killing this minion. They have all the like Prey has Shiv, so he has to walk up to hit things. He can't even like use it to bounce the Shiv proc there. It's gonna do no damage. They have nothing.
The worst part is like Smeb is still a good player, so like his team fighting was actually still good. Like he was diving the backline, he was exactly where he's supposed to be, and then he just died because he didn't have enough damage, and it was just really sad.
Yeah.
You get someone down to like 10%, and then
and then he just died.
He could have picked Maokai too. I mean, he didn't have just the Fizz. Like, it just made the Fizz means they had no front line, means the Ashe arrow, anything that got hit by the Ashe arrow was gonna die, which was a fucking issue.
I think they kind of planned for the Lulu because they did ban Azir and TF, and Najin banned Victor so that they couldn't have that as the final. Like, it was clear that they had a plan in mind, and if they were either going to first pick Victor, and because they didn't, they were going to build around Prey, but you can't do that with. You need another threat. As much as I love Lulu,
Lulu's not a threat in a game.
Lulu is not a threat end game. She's great at line clear and great at making your champions not die. That's it.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to make this tank not die. Well, where's the damage going to come from then? The tank, Sunfire came. Trust me, this tank ain't going to die. We got this. Like,
they need Duke.
Yeah, that was. I think I mean, that's what was good. Like, you go into game 2, KOO adapts. The series gets interesting.
Yeah.
And then
that was a great switch to game 2, though. I have to say, if you want to rewatch this game, count the amount of times Ggoong gets more than one person in his ultimate, you'll end up with 0.
Wait, cool.
At least he was hitting one person. We've all seen that game
one person,
where Ggoong launches a Cassiopeia ult and the entire team just goes like this. And then he's like, oh, well, I guess I hit no one. Like,
his ults were that game you're referring to. His ults were so telegraphed, though.
Yeah, but it didn't matter.
But that's the thing. They're not relying on him to be a huge. Yeah, like he did his job. He did what was expected of him in that game.
He did damage in team fights. So.
Got some last hits. Hold the wild turtle.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
So, what did you guys think of the adaptation that they had for game 2 with pretty much the amazing Malphite pick?
I'm trying to remember the whole fucking draft.
It's hard to like. In my opinion, it's difficult to recognize whether KOO just chose terrain really well around the Malphite or whether they recognize that Najin is not exactly the greatest at choosing their own terrain for team fighting, and therefore that's why they picked the Malphite. Because I thought, like, in game 1, there were still a couple of team fights that I felt Najin shouldn't have taken, or they definitely weren't all on the same page, like, especially with... in this game, it was with Pure and Annie. Like, he would get these really great initiates off, and then he'd be like, oh, team, like, you're not here. Oh, Whoops.
Every time he went in, Smep was still not actually. His TP was still going on while Tibbers landed, and it's every time.
And so like I can't say whether I don't know if this like it seems like a composition or like a pick like the Malphite that they specifically picked against Najin because they recognized that they'd be able to take advantage of them in team fighting. Like and also I thought KOO did a really like again, I don't know if it's them doing a really good job or Najin doing a really poor job, but like they chose terrain very well. So like they were able to funnel people into the Malphite, I thought really well. They set it up well, and then Smeb isn't gonna mess something like that up. So it was well done by them. And then obviously KOO was on Victor, which is like
One of his
obvious best champion. So again. Prey taking away the Lucian from OQ.
I think then this time the draft was so much better for KOO. The biggest problem I had with Najin in this series was the priority they've put on both Watch and Ggoong for their champion select, for their champion picks, because they didn't want to give OQ his best champion or try and give him champions he could carry on. No, they wanted first pick Elise, so the KOO Tigers could pick both Victor and Lucian. Like two major power picks right now in Korea and just in general.
There's the
best meta champion is Victor.
Well, exactly. It's also one of his best champions. Like, they went for that at least.
Yeah, like Najin really dropped the ball. Like number one, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but like no one was watching this series going, can't wait for some epic jungle play. Man, the jungle game is gonna be fucking insane. No, it wasn't. Like we were all sitting there going, oh, which jungler can place the more wards and gank top lane?
Yeah.
Like that was the fucking like watching like fucking what's his name, fucking Hojin or what that dog shit bastard's called. Might as well like be the same. Like I mean, I think Watch is better than Hojin, but like that's it. Like they're the same player in the sense of like the weaknesses and strengths. So like it was really bizarre to see like the Najin play such a focus on the Elise pick when I don't even think KOO Tigers would have first rotation that thing
no, they probably would have first rotation Victor because
Victor Lucian
KOO's best champion.
They did that the game before. They first picked Lucian away. Victor was banned, so they already get the picks. And now you would think Najin would do the same thing in the game too and first pick Lucian or something or Victor, but now they then go for the Elise again, which I don't even think fucking Hojin plays Elise to be honest.
I don't think we've ever seen him like be a pro player when Elise was a good pick.
No.
Yeah.
He
kind of last
Summer wasn't Elise still a good pick?
Oh yeah, he was still on sword. Yeah, when he was still on sword.
Okay. Maybe his debut on sword. I think Elise was still good then. Not 100%. I think it was still passable then. I think that like if Najin had first picked Victor, which is what they should have first picked, then that would have left. That would have forced like KOO Tigers would have still taken away the Lucian in the first rotation, but then I don't even think they would have first picked at least that early on. So what else would they have picked? Like now, Kuro like Yasuo was banned.
Yasuo and Azir were banned.
Yeah, so he couldn't have gone to one of those.
They would have picked Lucian and something else.
Yeah, so they might have picked like a bot lane or something like that. But I think this game would have been like it was almost like that one moment like signified to me that this was not going to be a game that went in Najin's favor was when they first picked the Elise, because I think they still would have got the Elise in second rotation had they left it open. Because KOO Tigers didn't pick their jungler until right at the end. That clearly shows they're not a team that places emphasis on pick priority on jungle champions.
Well, I mean, after you picked Elise, they could have picked Gragas, they could have picked They had a lot of options open, so you might as well. You don't need to pick it anymore.
And Watch is a pretty good Gragas player, and he's he's a passable Rek'Sai. So but you still would have had Gragas or Rek'Sai open, so you could have given them the Elise happily and taken the Gragas, or you could have let them just pick whatever, because it wouldn't have been as damaging for you as that Victor was. Because Kuro not only is he an insane Victor, but Ggoong is dog shit on anything that's not Azir or Victor. So
let's not talk about this here.
Like I mean, it wasn't even like Goong's Twisted Fate was like terrible. He did nothing with it.
He did nothing. Okay. Yeah. That's the second thing I want to complain about that game. First of all, why the fuck did he pick TP? I saw it twice. Once to go back to lane, and second time to almost die in the turret, and then had to cancel it. Those were the only two times he used TP in that whole game. That's it. So you're using TP for what? They don't play good with base rotations.
the problem is Kuro is on Victor, so constantly he has Ggoong pushed to his turret, so he can't
They saw the
work
Victor, and they were like, "Oh, let's pick TF with teleport."
What else was he gonna play though?
I don't care.
Put him on
Casio?
Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu. He should have got Lulu in
Do you
there.
think Ggoong is gonna?
Len, at least he has wave clear.
There are options.
Ggoong
If
is the player who wants his try the hardest to carry. He's got to get a champion that can carry. He could have just picked Orianna or Lulu, but I don't think he can bring himself to select those
He's
champions.
played both those champions traditionally in big games. Like, he's not actually bad on either of those champions, I don't think. Like, I think
seems like he wants to
I
carry.
feel like
oh yeah, 100%.
would have been absolutely fine. Like you already have you put Duke on Gnar. Like the rest of this team would have been totally fine. You have Gnar, you have Corki, you have Annie, you have Watch on Elise.
You like
And
a
then-
lot of damage, to be honest, with also Corki. I mean,
Well,
but again,
Corki.
so and another weird
Kog'Maw
thing.
was up there.
And another weird thing in this game. So in game 1, we saw Ashe from OQ. Game 2, we saw Lucian and Corki. And then in game 3, we saw double Ashe.
Double Ashe.
Yeah. So why was Ashe not picked at all in game 2? Why are both these teams like Ashe is the shit right now? Ashe is the best AD carry in a game. Blind pick worthy. Let's not pick in game 2 though.
The
I
only
think
reason I could
I
think
was-
is Callista.
Yeah.
But
Like
I was gonna say, I think that Koo was definitely laser focused on taking Lucian away from OQ too. Like that's why they were really prioritizing that pick. So that doesn't explain the double Ashe in game 3, but I think
No,
the
I
reason
know
why
the double Ashe.
Prey was I think the reason why Prey was picking Lucian was because he wanted to deny it from OQ.
Yeah, obviously.
it was just denial, yeah.
That was.
yeah,
I didn't like the Corki pick.
Yeah, like
either.
I think OQ is a good Corki. Like OQ's good on whatever he wants to play. To be honest with you, best AD carry in Korea, top 3 AD carry in the world, or whatever. But yeah, he is. Deal with it, haters. Haters, deal with it. Can't hear the haters. I've got headphones on. But I think
I can
that-
fuck you.
like I've seen remember that game where OQ played Corki and he fucking pushed Fury's shit in on Sivir. Like he just kept fucking tower diving him and fucking slamming him into the fucking wall. And that was beautiful to watch. OQ is a good Corki.
I'm actually not bitching about a Corki as OQ being bad on it. It's just the team fighting.
Yeah.
It just always ended up with he had Corki and then the whole team was dead and he's I can't kill anybody because I'm Corki. It was.
Yeah.
It was
Corki does a lot of damage spread at in a poke comp situation, but this was not really a poke comp.
Why didn't they go with
Not with
Sivir?
TF in mid.
Why didn't they go with Sivir? I mean, it blocks. It's not so great against Lucian in lane, but you can block some Victor damage. If you're quick enough, you can block Malphite ult, which pretty much negates that pick.
Oh,
To be fair, when they
block it,
picked
it's
that-
not that fast. It's not that fast.
To be fair, when Najin picked the they did know that Malphite had been picked at that point. Yeah,
Yes.
why didn't they pick
Yeah.
Sivir? What is this fucking weird AD carry prioritization from fucking these two teams?
They're
Ashe TRS, except
No,
except the situation.
I think Koo did fine with their AD carry prioritization. It's Najin
And
that
then-
fucked it up.
Yeah, and then Najin, then Lucian, you see how they run. Lucian, tier A, and then with Corki, and then Kog'Maw and Sivir, tier 4 or some shit. But remember, Ashe, the fucking shit right now. It was fucking bizarre.
And then the whole game was so. If you first picked the Elise, you expect Watch to do something, but he even did less that game than he did the game before on Ashe, which at least he had an early gank in the bot lane, even though they fucked that up. And then you at least hope that the fucking TF would do something, but other than 2 Destinies, nothing. And every single team fight, it was the same thing. Watch died or got zoned out. Pure went in at pretty much good ults, but they had so many cleanses.
Yeah.
QSS, they had cleanse, they had McKills. And nobody ever followed him, so Pure went in, stunned people, they cleansed, they killed him. Then Smap was still TPing somewhere over there and then walking towards the team. And then you have Ggoong is playing TF and never ulting to actually engage, even though he was second itemed Hourglass. Then you would at least think, if you do that you want to TP into the enemy team to engage on the Victor. Never did that. So then your TF who has to actually walk forward to the victory, and it's the same problem as fucking Watchhead. You just get zoned out and die.
Yeah, in this meta right now, you can't go around giving like Kuro his best champion and then giving Ggoong something like he's like mediocre on. Like, it doesn't really work that way.
And not even securing the best champion for OQ. Like, you can't give up all of this for just watch.
I want to sit down and ask the Najin coaches, what were your win conditions in this comp? How did you think you were going to win this game?
Really early.
They were going to rotate.
Early snowball.
They were going to rotate so much with the double TP they never used. They were going to.
Shit.
Really early ganks for Duke, and then put that, and then teleport down into the bot lane or teleport back. But the best thing and most ingenious thing from KOO is the amount of ability to get out of the hard CC. Is that the one thing Pure does really well as a support is he plays a lot of lockdown support, and the amount of focus they had on Cleanse, QSS, and Mikhail's was spot
game 2 and 3.
Like game 2 and 3, they knew exactly Najin's gonna want to play lock up supports, so we're gonna get Windwall and Braum Shield on one team. Good luck.
Yeah.
That team fighting was nice. Got to game 3.
Like, I think Najin's pretty good at team fighting when they go to good team fighting comp. We've seen them continually out team fight some really good teams. You know, I'd say their team fighting is almost like LPL level. But the problem is that, like, okay, except for Ggoong.
Not just that. Sometimes they have split decisions.
Only because I feel like the frustrating thing watching this entire series is that they have like really good pieces for a team fight. And I feel like Duke has been unjustly blamed for like poor teleports when really if you're praising a laner for their teleports, it's not the laner, like part of it is, but the majority of it is the team. It's how the team is actually using the top laner to come in at the right time. And I feel like Duke has a really, really amazing manipulation of his Gnar bar. I feel like his Gnar is very good at controlling team fights. But at the same time, if you're not using him to teleport, if you're not using him correctly with the rest of the team, it's not going to make a difference. And like that was the really frustrating thing watching Najin's team fighting, is because it felt like all of the players were on completely different pages. Like Pure was on a different page. OQ was fine, but like there's not much he can do after everyone dies, and then he's just still sitting there like on the back line, like, well, okay, whatever. And it's just, I guess that's the most frustrating thing about Najin, is that like it should work, but it doesn't. And I feel that unfortunately, like Ggoong and Watch, in terms of their actual team fighting, like they do hurt the team because they will either die on the front line, or they won't understand like how to position themselves so that OQ and Duke can get in and get their CC and damage down. Like it was honestly really frustrating to watch.
Like,
and we also set the record straight that Duke is not maturing into a better player with TP. He has always been a fucking great TP player. He won Spring MVP when his team didn't fucking make it into the playoffs because of his ability to play. Oh, wait. 13 games of Gnar and dominate by coming in right at the right time with his TP and just ulting everyone into a wall and being like, game over, bitches.
TP is a team thing, and that is one of the reasons why Western teams fail to use TP, is because it requires strong team communication and decisive shot calling. And Najin just don't have the decisive shot calling to routinely make. So Duke looks bad as a result of it. Lupa wasn't some team. Let's put it this way. Lupa wasn't some TP god. He had some of the best players ever on his team who were like, "Oh, can you come into the mid lane now? We really like you." He'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'm going to turn up now." Like that. Like, look again, and that's why we see in M3. I like M3, but they're fucking shit. Like, this is why.
God, they're so bad.
This is why. Like, we see that, you know what, there's not the decisive shot calling on Najin. There's not some of the players are too weak at team fighting. But what's worse is I feel like Najin tried to go half and half. Like, this roster they have is like, we're trying to have the decisive shot calling and the mature player through Ggoong and Watch, but we want the good mechanics and the good, like, if they'd gone all in on their team fighting with Peanut and Tank, or gone all in on their, like, they would have been a much better team as a result of it, I think. Like,
yeah, and it just so happens that those veteran players like don't seem to have, and it's really unfortunate, they don't seem to have as good of an understanding of zone control as like Duke does.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I don't think Najin's team fighting is as good as you said. Like, they're not QG or Snake level.
I
Because
think they could be,
Not
though.
even close.
they
think they
have a
could be.
lot of issues when it comes to like target selection and then follow through. Is that you'll see in a lot of the games they've lost through team fights, it's because they split who they want to fight. Where if you watch LPL games, like LPL, like no, we're picking that guy and he's dead. Like I don't give a shit what happens. You kill him before you move on to the target.
Snake, QG, and like to some extent IG have like amazing late games.
IG's too. IG's so 50-50 though.
Like like you flip a coin and they're gonna be terrible or awesome. But I think my problem with Najin, like unfortunately, is just like Ggoong and Watch and the fact that they aren't on the same page as the rest of the team. And to Sam's point, if they'd just gone all in on team fighting, I feel like the team would make more mistakes initially because they would all be on the same page. It just might not be like the most pleasant page to be on because they'd be making mistakes. But at the same time, like eventually when you do that with a team, they end up learning. Like they learn from their mistakes. They learn how to team fight better. They learn how to choose their engages better. And I honestly thought OQ's engages on Ashe were spot on in the first game. Like I think he's honestly improved as a player. And he makes less incredibly horrible decisions. Although there was that one time where he tried to outfight Smeb under turret. And it was
Game
like
3.
absolutely miserable. Like I was just like, oh my god.
Like I play a lot of Ashe. I play a lot of Malphite. That's your wet dream. When someone tries to tower dive you on low HP, that's your fucking wet dream. You're like, please tower dive me, please tower dive me. Oh my god, he's done it. Like
instantly died.
With your point on OQ of how he's matured, wouldn't you think that in a long season, when you can play teams like IM and Spenu, that you could put in a rough talent like Peanut and let him mature by playing games and reduce his OQ-ness?
Yeah,
and then let him take over.
And then the team on the same page, and you're fine. Like,
and then the one game Peanut played, he fucking wrecked that entire game.
Yeah, he did.
Literally,
like he had some terrible decisions, but he also dominated that game.
Like he didn't miss a single spear. Like I don't even think that no guy knows how to miss a spear at this point. Like like
well, the other thing with Peanut is like, how is he supposed to improve his decision making if he's not with the team? He's sitting on that bench in Challenger. He's really gonna end up improving his team fight decision making.
You know the player that Najin needs to put Peanut in? They need Doinby.
Yeah.
Yes.
They need the supportive mid laner to just make his jungler win the game.
I honestly love Doinby. He's like the best thing to happen to Swift ever. Because Swift hasn't changed. Like Swift hasn't changed as a player at all. It's just
have your mid laner ward for your jungler.
Yeah. Peanut needs to find his Doinby.
He's got his Doinby. It's called Tank. Like, his name is Tank. He wants to play Maokai mid lane. Let him do it. Like.
God.
Oh god, that is like one of the funniest League of Legends games I've watched this year. Actually, the Jugger Tree game is amazing.
But no, to go back to this real shit show of a game 2. I do think that Najin, that's why they're the heartbreakers. You know what I mean? Like they could be really, really fucking good, and they're just not because
they will never be good with Ggoong and Watch. It won't happen. Like they're team fighting.
KT's the heartbreakers, by the way.
No, fuck that. KT.
2 years.
KT don't deserve shit.
Oh, that's not true at all.
Fuck KT.
The fact that the bullets didn't go to I mean this is like off topic, but the fact that bullets didn't go to Worlds in season 3.
Yeah. It's a shame.
They should have won an OGN season then, shouldn't they? Oh, drops the mic. Oh, they could have won that spring season, but they thought that MVP Ozo were a worse team than Najin Sword. Yeah. Fuck that one up, didn't you? Match fixing bastards.
Okay.
So on anything much to say on game 3 besides the utter terribleness that was Najin?
I mean, KOO picked the count. They got the count they wanted because it was one pick, and if anything, like KOO is never, in my opinion, going to be like this ridiculously elite team. But what they are really good at is taking their players, researching their opponents, and coming up with compositions that specifically counter said opponents.
And they have
That's their strength. So in something like this, where we only have 2 games before we have blind pick. Okay, we have this comp.
Yeah.
For Najin. This is the anti-Najin comp.
And the worst part about Koo Tigers when they play Najin is while they might be like stylistically like hard countered in the terms of what Najin's typical win conditions are, what Koo's win conditions are. Koo know Najin because they used to be Najin.
Yes,
Their coaches used to be on Najin as players, and in Song's case as a coach, and 4 out of their 5 players used to be on Najin. And let's be honest here, Smeb probably would have made it onto Najin if they had kept that dual team system. So they're entire. It's like watching Najin A versus Najin B. But
pretty much, yeah.
But
then there's one more experienced Najin because the actual Najin won't let their like new players really develop.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen a player amass such a lead in mid lane, like in the lane, and then absolutely do nothing with it. Like I was like, oh my god, the lanes were losing, and Ggoong had a huge CS lead over Kuro, and I'm like, it's Najin's worst nightmare. He has they're giving the ball to Ggoong, and he has to score the touchdown for them, or whatever sport-related thing you want.
He had an open goal. All he had to do is make the shot. For real sports fans out there, he had an open goal. He just had to make the shot.
I don't watch any.
And then he threw it behind him. Like, oh well.
I've never seen someone have such a lead and literally do nothing with it.
Yeah.
You're totally right, but that Koo's comp was as a piece of art, to be honest. I can't help it. Definitely the way that there was also real practice in the team fight with that comp. Though
Smeb had so many flanks.
Not just the flanks, just the way they used the wind wall and break wall together, and always disengaged with the glacial fissure. But the biggest problem Najin had was that they wanted to engage way too much, and they were relying on Ggoong to always constantly follow up and engage, which first of all you can't do because you can't go through the wind wall with soldiers, which is a problem. And second of all, he always died before Duke even got to finish his TP. Every teamfight he just died, and it was mostly because he got caught out by Smeb a lot.
I was just hoping to see Ggoong channel KOO and just fucking bend everything around and then pop Ashe backwards and be like, "Fuck you, Ashe! You have no mobility. You're screwed now."
Yeah, fucking I love KOO.
The wind wall, everything just stopped any kind of try engage, and even when they tried to go behind the wind wall, there was still more CC to stop them. There was the Era Shadow, there was Goragas there.
And what do you guys think about Leona pick?
I actually liked it. And this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I actually really liked it, and I like the fact that they had pure kind of roaming a bit more. I would like to see that more from him. I think his actual sense of initiation, to be honest, is quite good. And if you're not relying on Najin because we know they screw up 5v5 team fights, but if you're just having these small skirmishes where Pure is roaming on Leona, I think that's actually a really good idea, and it's something that Najin should look into, especially if they're gonna keep playing watching Ggoong, because they're let's face it, with those 2 players, their 5v5 team fighting is never gonna be good.
No.
And if you can rely on small skirmishes to get people ahead, especially get your bot lane ahead, have Pure roam up top, get Duke ahead, I think that's something that Najin should look into and seriously consider. I thought the Leona pick was actually pretty good.
On the Leona, it was good. And even got through the wind wall, because you can get over the wind wall with this warfare. It's very useful.
Yeah, it was good in a certain sense, but I don't know. I'm still not fully sold on Leona being a sort of it was good in when you break it down like that, but then at the same time when you think about what supports were open and that kind of thing.
Every support was blind pick.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fine
That's
with
my
Leona,
point. So
wouldn't you want a Callista so you could throw Leona onto the team?
I'm not going to talk about the fact that OQ did not get any good champions the whole fucking series. Ashe was fine in game 1, but
I was fine with Leona. It was just
me too. But
get the
Leona Ashe is not really a good lane.
it's not awesome. It's okay.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that they didn't put OQ on Callista in this game.
Yeah,
because And then you have at least a secondary like mid-game damage source instead of just Ggoong.
Yeah, especially with how like likely Prey is to tilt during a laning phase, and like how we've all seen OQ just get Kalista and fucking like wreck the entire game. Like
that even in the blind pick, they didn't even focus on OQ's champions. They like the whole comp was like, okay, OQ, Ggoong, you have to carry us, and Watch has to help with Elise. When does that ever happen for Najin? Never.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like that kind of points out like the problem with having Ggoong on the team, right? Like we talked about his gold distribution. Like you have to give him gold, you have to give him resources for him to be anywhere near successful.
Yeah,
so if he's on a team roster, like you unfortunately have to funnel those resources.
But you can't give OQ a champion so he can help carry. The problem is with Ashe, you're never gonna be this. You're never gonna have enough. Even if you get the same amount of gold, you don't do the same amount of damage as your mid laner does. Well, if he plays Kalista, if he plays Lucian, he will be more effective in the team fights.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't put him on Lucian or Kalista. Kalista because of the Leona pick, but I mean, could have even gone Lucian in this case too.
I mean, Koo Tigers banned Kalista on blue side. They were blue side, and they banned Kalista because of OQ.
And Prey's a horrible Kalista as well.
So that's what I mean, is that literally they had to ban it because
they have no way of dealing with it.
They can't first pick it, and they know OQ will destroy them with it. Now, I mean, we're a little strapped on time, so I want to, because I think we might have some fun discussions on talking about the next playoff set.
Yeah, let's
so we're gonna jump to that. The next playoff set is actually very interesting because CJ and KOO, the winner of this could secure themselves second seed. Is like if
unless SKT loses. Okay.
The only way they would not, the winner of this is not go to Worlds, is if
SKT
Sam becomes king. Because KT would have to beat SKT.
Or CJ. Or KOO,
CJ or KOO.
Okay. Yeah.
The winner could also win.
Yeah, sure. So
hey, I don't know what KT is doing right now, so
I don't think either team, but if SKT wins and they take first, then the winner of this automatically goes to Worlds.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big one.
This is a big match really, and when you consider like how any Korean team that goes to Worlds is immediately like a strong contender to win the entire thing.
Top 5, all positions are like the greatest.
Then I mean we've gone from the glory days of the 3 best teams in the world to the 3 Korean teams that go. We've gone from them glory days, like we all miss them. We all talk about them occasionally. Sometimes to get the campfire and the little marshmallows out. And remember when Korea was really good? Yeah, I miss those days too. It's delicious. But anyway, like this is still a big series for Worlds. This is like if you're not a fan of Korean League of Legends, you need to put away your idiotic views on how good Dyrus is, whatever fucking bullshit you believe, or how amazing Clearlove is. He's not that good, I'm sorry. Anyway, you need to watch this series because this will be a banger, and this team is going to make top 8 at Worlds, at least top 8.
Well, yeah, that won't be that hard. You just get out of groups. Okay.
Yeah, all you have to do is get out of groups.
That's not amazing.
I was actually doing the research on like what teams have made it, like not made it out of groups, and it's pretty hilarious.
No,
but
the cool thing about Samsung.
Yeah, that's the only Korean team, and no Chinese team has ever failed to make it out of groups.
The only time a Korean team hasn't won groups is Samsung White at Season 3 World Championships.
Yep.
That is the only time that a Korean team, even Najin, when they were dropping games to Alliance and dropping games to Cloud9, they still won that group. Like, I love how people are like, oh yeah, Najin Shield was so bad. They still won the group, though, didn't they? Like, still won the fucking group.
Yeah, they lost to a Chinese team, man.
Yeah, they lost to they got wrecked by a Chinese team. Like, that was a bit of a prophecy for things that were to come. But like, they still made it out of groups, even when the players clearly didn't give a shit because they'd all like decided to join a new team. Like, I think at that point, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. Like. It's still like this team is gonna do well at Worlds theoretically. So
well, and additionally, it's 2 teams that I feel like, even though they have like obvious weaknesses, they're 2 teams that are really strong at doing like what they're good at. So that's why I'm actually really interested in this matchup.
CJ is just good at letting KOO carry them, to be honest. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
I'm not sure that helps against
Ambition is a terrible jungler, and I hate that Ambition is getting credit and people are saying like he's good. I'm like, no, he's not. Like study his pathing. Like I could do Ambition's jungle pathing, and I don't even fucking jungle. Like,
Like,
Yeah, it's fucking bad.
he's like, I think even TBQ watches Ambition and goes, well, you're really bad, aren't you? Like,
Hey, have you read interviews? TBQ thinks
Yeah,
he's a god.
he thinks he's the best jungler. He's the only person on the team too that thinks he's the best. Like even after LGD beat EDG, Imp was like, I still think Daft is the best.
Yeah.
Well, Imp's just being Imp. He says it all
Yes.
the time. He doesn't actually believe it.
The other like great analogy for that moment is I remember watching a watch interview at Season 4 World Championships. They were like, "Oh, what players really impressed you at Worlds?" And we all remember how bad Clearlove played at Season 4. Like he said in an interview, "I think Clearlove's playing really well. I was watching his jungle pathing, and he's making really smart decisions about his jungle pathing." So like clearly, I was like, mind blown. Like I almost like lost all hope in that one interview. But like I think as long as CJ play Trick 2G.
I actually think they should play Trigger.
Yeah, like I think like because you got to think, what is CJ's strength? Late game team fighting. What is one of GE Tiger's strengths? Understanding their win conditioning, and their team fighting is pretty good as well.
Their team fighting rotations.
Yeah, I think their team
so
fighting.
you're like we're gonna get some fucking bang on team fights in this game.
I mean, it's gonna be best of 5 at least, so it should actually be very entertaining.
Yeah, this is the series you need to watch if you consider yourself a fan of League of Legends. As a game, not as a way of watching your favorite North Americans on their soap operas, you need to watch this series. Like this has got some of the big old guard. Well, like I don't want to say old guard, but it's like the old guard of CJ Enters versus the breakout stars of GE Tigers and Hojin battling each other for the crown of who gets to lose to SK Telecom later on.
Okay,
like,
first.
This is fucking good. Oh yeah, lose to KT. No, I think one of them could beat KT. Well, we'll get into that later on. But this is one of the like I would almost say it's one of the most like important best of 5s running up to Worlds, like a top 3 important best of 5 in terms of its importance running into Worlds.
Yeah, I'd say it is considering that Chinese finals now don't matter for Worlds seeding. It's just the regionals, and then Taiwan's already been decided. So
yeah, like I mean, yeah, the only finals that were more important, the only best of 5 that you could argue is really more important is that LGD versus EDG best of 5, where EDG got fucking their shit handed to them on a fucking shitty plate by LGD. Like that was a really important best of 5 because that really decided the number 1 Chinese seed to win to Worlds. Yeah. Now we're like, this is the number 2 Korean seed, so theoretically a pretty good Korean team.
Yeah, actually, about that series, I think actually it wouldn't be surprising if we see KOO just pick entirely different champions against PJ than against Najin. Because they're not gonna fucking prioritize Lucian that much again. Like the champion priority will totally.
Gotta stop space getting Lucian, guys.
You want to play Lucian? Go for it, buddy. Like.
Do you think Callista's gonna fall through? Do you think Callista will be pick or banned?
I don't think I would be surprised if Callista gets picked once.
If they're,
to be honest,
I mean they don't have to really worry about Callista and space.
Neither player can play it.
Prey can't play Callista either. So.
But for some reason, some people like to ban Callista against space, so maybe they still do it.
Like I think the big champion priority picks in this one, especially when you talk about AD carry, are going to be Sivir and Kog'Maw. I think those are going to be the two. Both these teams are going to be looking to run the Juggernaut. And then if they can't run the Juggernaut, they'll be looking to run some kind of Sivir, like rush your fucking shit in comp. Expect Shy to bust out the Olaf. He'll have practiced enough scrims because we all know he don't play solo queue. And then Azir, and it's Coco's Azir versus Kuro's Victor. Like, let's do this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if I'm cool, I would just try and pick away this year, to be honest. Not even try and go Victor.
This series will go to Game 5 as well. Like, neither of these teams are capable of a clean sweep due to the flawed nature of their playstyles.
I could only see CJ winning before, like 3-1.
Yeah.
I think 3-1. I think 3-1 would be the easiest, closest I could get to not Game 5. But yeah, this is almost for sure a long series.
If it goes
it's going to be a lot more protect the carry.
Yeah, if it goes to Game 5, I think Koo might actually win.
Again.
To be honest.
Please don't. I don't want that.
They're blind.
But I think.
Wait. You say you prefer CJ over Koo?
I prefer KOO over KOO.
I prefer KT beating I prefer SKT looking at it going, nah, this isn't happening, and just throws the finals to KT. And it's like,
That would be
we
amazing.
can't have these teams representing Korea.
Oh yes, please.
Oh,
Yeah, then I'd be king. Like,
no, this is so bad for me, dude.
yeah.
Sorry, Peter, I want Sam to be king.
I want KT to win, but
Yeah.
that's fair. I think, I mean, in comparing
Worlds, but-
the 3 teams, KT, CJ, and KOO, I think, once again, KT's highs are better than what either of these teams can do. The problem is that KT is, as always, wildly inconsistent.
Still has Arrow, so.
So, I mean,
they've been looking
that's
okay.
the problem.
You can't spell KT. You can't take the. You can take. Wait. No, you can't take KT arrows out of KT when you still got Arrow on the team. Like, he's always going to be there. Like,
He can always pull the Arrow and lose lane by 100 CS.
what is Arrow on? What is Arrow is on KT an anagram for? It's an anagram for KT arrows. ON. Or whatever. So
I think KT is fine around playing. Like, they can play around Arrow well to a point.
They're playing way better around Arrow than Najin
well,
and KOO.
yeah, not well enough to beat SKT. I mean, I think, but in terms of going up against CJ and KOO, like the only reason why I can't call KT definitively is just because sometimes they just massively throw.
But it's a best of
Like-
5, so that should give them some.
we need to do a
I
show
hope.
after this best of 5 just to discuss it. I think and discuss like the. I think we should do like a show after each playoff.
A mini episode.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, I can probably.
You should, because there's probably gonna be enough to talk about every
That's true.
single best of 5.
That way we can-
turn around though.
That way we can guide the uneducated fans through the magic of Korea with multiple shows. We're still number 1 region. I'm not giving that up yet. We're still
No.
number 1 region.
I don't know about
If
that.
anything, they're tied.
We may have
Call
still
it
be the
time.
#1 team, but the region I give up on.
Yeah, I would say if you're comparing regions, China wins.
Oh, yeah.
If you're comparing best teams,
Mm,
that's a lot more
maybe.
debatable.
I'll see you at Stars War. I'll see you there.
I should-
Yeah. bring it.
I would love to see
Start.
actual Chinese
Like-
LoL versus Korean LoL in a whole season.
that would be
Like,
cool.
that's the thing. I wish these teams could play each other more, because honestly, like watching LGD play or EDG play is like vastly different than watching SKT play. Like, it's completely different. So it's really difficult to judge how those teams would match up.
I'd love to see the
Yeah.
style. Yeah, the style. How like a best of
So
5 would
different.
play out between some of those teams.
But yeah,
So
I mean, the only problem with Korea is I do think the drop off after SKT is
holy shit!
Massive.
Yes.
like at least like China has LGD,
Seven.
EDG,
Definitely.
and then I mean Snake and QG. QG has like obvious exploitable weaknesses, as does Snake. They're both really good at doing what they're doing.
Yes.
I have a king bet that the fall off of Korea is not as harsh as everyone thinks it is. I believe in Korea more than anyone should at this point. So
Yes, exactly.
Hey, I believed in Jin Air, so. But no, I mean, in Korea you have SKT, and then you have kind of KT, CJ. Well, KT's above. I still think KT's above
KT's
CJ,
consistently
KOO,
above.
Najin, Jin Air. But it's like that drop off. It's pretty big, and then from there, just like Samsung, and then I can't find the other teams, guys.
I am looked okay in their last
You have
few
to go
weeks.
through the downstairs basement closet to find Anarchy, IM, and Spenu.
And if you're streaming in the basement, you know. So.
So, what do you guys give me some numbers? What do you think
Predictions.
it's gonna end? CJ KOO.
3-2 to KOO Tigers.
Because I don't think they're gonna win in blind pick. I say 3-1 CJ. Because I actually think KOO is good enough, and it's just gonna destroy them in team fights. Biggest problem was for Najin, they couldn't team fight. They almost got ahead in the early game, and I think if they put in Trick, which they might actually do, they can also get ahead and then just win because they have KOO.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really depends on whether they play Ambition, because Ambition is
I would love them to
Not-
pick Trick.
like not good, and to the point where he's not good and worse than either Hojin or Wisdom. So if they play Trick, I think it's CJ 3-1. If they play Ambition, I think it's KOO in 5.
Yeah.
Because I
Exactly, yeah.
actually don't see many teams beating out KOO in a blind pick match, only because that is what they're really good at. Like, they're really good at preparing before games. So I think they probably in their mind have very specific compositions to go up against all of the teams in a blind pick situation.
Yeah.
Fair.
So that's not it, because we're not going to have Emily on the next show. I guess the new mini episode we'll have out. So
I guess.
do you see? You said KOO winning, right?
Mhm.
So do you think KOO could beat KT?
Not if KT plays at the level that they should. I mean, I never bet on KT, to be quite honest, because they let me down so many times that it's very difficult to bet on them.
I won't ask.
But I mean, I think that KT, if they play their game out like they should easily dispose of KOO, only because I think that Score and Peekaboo together as a unit are genuinely very impressive. And I think they create full map pressure.
And you have enough strong laners on top of that. Like Someday and Nagni can always just go off together with them.
Yeah, I mean the
Summer
only one you have to
MVP.
worry about is Arrow.
Yeah,
but
he's doing
with
okay.
Peekaboo-
I mean,
With Peekaboo, you
He's-
may be able to basically get rid of Arrow's issue.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
mean he's
Peekaboo.
doing a lot better, and Peekaboo is a huge part of that. Like Peekaboo is exactly what KT needed for both Score and for Arrow. Not because Score was doing especially badly, but like I said, I think a lot of his deficiencies in the jungle where he lacks like in jungler experience, Peekaboo actually makes up for that in terms of his roaming, his invades, his deep warding, all that stuff. And then he also keeps his good old Zenix buddy Arrow from dying. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's the original ZX bot lane, actually, isn't it? Yeah, who was the original Arrow support. Arrow's gone full circle.
So, who do you think are going to be the 3 teams? Well, okay, 2 other teams from Korea, since we already know SKT is going to make it.
That's rough.
Just think that SKT is gonna win, and then you can choose
Yeah,
between CJ and
I'm totally assuming that
Yeah.
SKT's.
you can choose between CJ and KOO, and then you have to choose one of the other 5 or something. 4.
I honestly hope it's CJ, KT, SKT,
Yeah.
because I think that would be the best regional representation. I think in those teams you have 3 teams and they all play like vastly different in different manners and they do different things. So I think it'd be a good like overall representation of the region. I also think that KOO is just way too easily exploited by like I feel like the better Chinese teams are just gonna totally dismantle
Yeah.
KOO.
That's
Where
why.
I
See,
think-
that just makes me want to send KOO Tigers, because I believe in them.
Oh,
I believe
come
in
on,
them
you're.
when
I
everyone else
don't.
does.
Najin
I have a
won.
hamster. I have a
I
hamster
don't
called Gorilla. I believe in them.
necessarily believe in CJ up against the top Chinese teams.
He killed his webcam. You killed your webcam.
Fuck!
I think you tried to turn it to show us your
Yeah.
pets, and you unplugged it. So now we see watch.
Okay. Well, you
Um,
watch. Oh no, you want to see show girl. Okay. No.
But yeah,
KOO.
I mean, I think KT could be able to do okay, but again, they're just so inconsistent. And I think that a better Chinese team stand toe to toe with them. It'd definitely be an interesting early game though, because I think that KT is a little bit more creative than people give them credit
Mhm.
for, but at the same time, they make a lot of mistakes in doing so that are easily
Yeah.
exploitable.
And they have
And
to
then
deal with Arrow.
SKT is obviously and then SKT is obviously the team I want to see go up against like an LGD and EDG.
Yeah, the problem with any other team at SKT sending them to Worlds is they will have one lane that gets so destroyed that
Yeah.
or they have a jungler that does nothing and they will just get out pressured, or they will have one lane that gets utterly destroyed. So yeah, that's why only SKT has like any good chance of competing with the Chinese teams, because they will stay pretty even overall.
Yeah. I mean, you could always have LGD somehow like TBQ you know, goes back to, because like it's not like LGD's win came off of like TBQ being great. He was just like okay, as in he didn't die and make mistakes. So you could always go back to like TBQ being TBQ, and then maybe like.
But do you think
maybe
TBQ
like
is
then
even as bad
you have
as?
a KT sneak
Well,
in there.
but one of the main reasons, I mean, I actually haven't seen the series yet, but I just saw the pick Ben, and I think LCD did a really good draft phase against CDG.
They have an amazing. They had an amazing. They recently picked up
a new
the
coach,
old
right?
Star Home World Club coach. Yeah. Which is actually kind of perfect for that team because they already have PYL, and PYL is like super smart in terms of not only his in-game mechanics but like his engagement, fighting, his shot calling, everything. So their drafting has significantly improved.
His Bard and Alistair play was phenomenal.
So glad that I got to see him play again.
Holy crap! Some of those cues, like at the clutch moment, it was like, well, that really returned the team fight. But do you even think TBQ is as bad as some of the jungle talent that they have in Korea?
I think it's honestly really hard to say, but I think the main problem with TBQ is not like his mechanics, it's his decision making.
No.
So like the fact that yeah, exactly. Like so it's honestly really hard to tell. Like I don't think TBQ is a good jungler at all. But I think his main detriment to the team is the fact that sometimes he just goes in and you're just like, why did he do that? Like there was one game the LGD played, and I don't even remember who it was against, but he like Rek'Sai ults by himself, like for some reason thinking the rest of the team is gonna follow up. Like Rek'Sai ults into like 3 people and just dies randomly.
Okay.
The rest of the team's like up in the bot lane, and the rest of the team's over at Dragon. They're just like, "What are you doing?" Like, that's TV. You know, like he doesn't always listen to PYL's calls.
Yeah.
I feel, and so then he makes these like really weird decisions. So I don't think it's about. I mean, I think he is easily exploited in the jungle, but again, I think what Peekaboo does for score, I think PYL does for TBQ.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I can say I know PYL is insane.
Yeah, he's my favorite Chinese player.
I don't know. I love Godv. Some of his plays are ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like he's come a long way.
Yes.
He was never this good last year.
So I mean, is there anything else to talk about, or do you have any small topic?
Just want to say that Flandre is the best Chinese League of Legends player of all time. Flandre, Master Race. I love that guy.
As long as he doesn't have to make decisions.
And,
he is their shot caller.
Wow.
By the way, in case
I know. No, I know. I'm just saying he needs to have decisions taken away from him, and I think he'd be a lot better because there are some things you're just like, wait a minute, this makes no sense. Oh right, he's the yeah, okay.
Like, oh, okay, Flandra's a shot caller.
Yeah.
In fairness, I think they gave Flandra like a ton of leeway during the season, but I think now they're kind of he's being a lot less experimental, in my opinion.
You can
and
see
they
that
have they have you, and you is just like you put him on anything, not just control mages, and he just has such a wonderful understanding of how to team fight that as long as the rest of Snake is following up, their like team fighting is just bar none.
You could see
that's it. That's how we fix Najin. We bring over you. He's the first Chinese to play in Korea.
Wow, that would be amazing.
You is the hero that Najin need.
Pretty interesting to see how the teams played differently before the playoff. Before like the playoff format was kind of finalized. Before and after is very funny to see all the teams play.
Skyrocketing up, and then you have Masters 3 dropping from like 3rd to 7th in 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah, pretty ridiculous.
Oh, we actually have to win games now to qualify. Oh shit,
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. They just wanted to dodge EDG, which is hilarious because LGD did end 3-0 them, and it was like, it was very funny to see LGD's the entire time they're playing. You can see they're just trying to get on the opposite bracket. Like if EDG's 1, they want 7, so they're on the opposite side of the bracket.
And you can bet they were crossing their fingers if EDG beat out IG. They were like, please beat IG, and then they didn't. And then they 3-0'd EDG anyway, which actually I didn't expect. But
yeah, who did?
more surprising is the fact that IG beat EDG, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely after the series the day before, like it was like, where did this IG come from?
Yeah, if you watch like Invictus Gaming versus VG Gaming, and then you tell me that IG then goes on to
3-1 EDG, like what the fuck? IG, man. Holy hell.
I think that's finally place. Now you can see Gorilla in all his glory. You can see him. He's somewhere around there. I can't quite. He'll move in a minute. Oh, he's just sleeping on top. All right, he's a bit too fat to be seen. In fact, if you just look close enough, you can just about see him just there. Let me see if I can just.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anything else to say before we start watching Sam's?
That's how we end the stream.
Yeah, I think.
Nope, that's about it. I think, yeah, I did all my picks and stuff.
Okay.
All right, any shout-outs?
Shout out to you guys for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
And then shout out to the China Talk crew, and I'll be taping my show with them tomorrow. So look forward to that because we'll be talking about all the games that I talked about, including. I mean, we're probably going to spend a massive amount of time on EDG, LGD, and then obviously EDG versus IG because that was. I feel like you could look at EDG, LGD and be like, okay, it's just that LGD came into their own like a little bit before we were expecting. But looking at IG, it's just like, okay, where did this even come from? So we'll be talking about that.
Very, very fun. I have a shout out.
Oh god.
Shout out to Esportspedia who may help me write my first article ever because I hate writing articles for not my job that make me no money. So it may still not happen, but it may happen. And it'll be a 2-year thing. It'll be pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I have stats from the past 2 years on champion info. Whether or not there actually is champion diversity.
Well.
Spoiler alert. No.
Well, I don't need to read the article now, do I? Like, there goes all that funding you just managed to secure.
Oh, no, there's no money coming in.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, thanks for the show, guys. It's brilliant as always. Love you and leave you.